Ah, snap! It's cookie cake time!
Best day ever. Best session.
I thought you said something else.
It is going to be, but for a completely unrelated reason.
All right, well, before we dive into cookie cake, although we probably should have done that a while ago, but now we're going to dive into this game! Yeah, what up? Hey, what's going on, people at home? Welcome to Basements and Besties, the Dark Lanterns of Sharn, a Ian Publishing Level Up A5E actual play game. Woohoo! My name is Will Tramp, or this effing GM. I am the narrator for this fine group of people, and we are going to go ahead and get started here. So we are going to go ahead and start off with a question for your characters, and we're going to be starting off with Colin today. So Colin, the question that I have for your character is, back a few years back, you served in the last war, the Great Civil War for the great nations of Corvair, and you served the nation of Breland. Now, while you were in the last war, you were probably involved in a number of skirmishes with various armies. Which army did your character find to be the fiercest foe?
So the army that I believe Brock would have been the least enthused to come up against would have been the Karnathi army, because Brock's unit, the Bear Claws, specifically the division that he was in, was a sapper unit, so destroying enemy emplacements, causing basically mayhem, trying to rout the enemy via explosives. That doesn't really work on enemies that don't fear death, which the Karnathi forces are composed primarily of not quite mindless undead, but disciplined undead that nevertheless aren't really afraid to die.
Yeah, already been there.
Yeah, makes it a little harder to scare them by setting off a big bomb.
That's fair. All right. Well, and if I'm not mistaken, you served. When you served in the Braylish army, you served in the same company as Sarah's character.
That's
is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. Well, Sarah, we'll bring that question over to you. Same question to you. Who is the most fearsome foe to your character to face in the last war?
Deidre would have to say that it was the Karnathi army as well. Forward scouting on an army, you can't second guess where they're moving to because they can go through anything and don't really have. She doesn't have the ability to get a glimpse of any intentions with them as she does with other people. It's really hard to be good at what you do.
No, I'd imagine so. Well, so that's 2 for the Karnathi, which I'm sure would make King Caius III very happy to
He's
hear.
real happy. Yeah.
Well, despite
he's just cheesing over the F.
Yeah, just cheesing. He doesn't smile very often for some reason, but Caius.
Nothing.
It's the what? Are you spouting that filthy propaganda from Seer that Caius III is a vampire?
I'm just saying Seer has
filthy propaganda.
Never
You know who posited that theory? One of the leaders of the Order of the Emerald Claw, basically the fantasy Nazi. So you're basically spouting fantasy Nazi propaganda. Woo! Woo! Checkmate. Oh my god.
Checkmate.
You can't really fight against Nazis. Well, I mean, you can fight against them, but you can't, support that shit.
No, absolutely not. No, okay.
Thank you for
We're going to move on from the fantasy Nazi references. Good lord. Please don't take away our sponsorship, Ian Publishing. We're going to move that question to Connor. Connor, same question to you. What your character served in the Braylish army? What foe what army did they find the fiercest to come up against?
Despite the terror of the undeads of the Karnathi, I think Colton would have to say the Thrain. And
the Thranish army?
Thranish army, for 2 reasons in particular. One is because despite the fact that they have all this divine magic, every man, woman, and child, basically, in the country of Thrain is trained in how to use a longbow as part of their religious practices.
Yeah.
So, anywhere they go, they have an army of archers to the point where Colton would probably reminisce about the sky being darkened with a literal cloud of arrows.
Yeah.
And the other reason being, they're kind of the ones that killed them.
Yeah, that's we haven't been to Thrain yet, so maybe they take a lot of pride in that. We don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's a great answer. That's a great answer. So we've got 2 for Karnoth, 1 for Thrain. We're gonna take it home here with Cassie. Cassie, what army do you believe that your character, who did not necessarily serve in the last 4, but rather witnessed much of the last 4, what army would you say would be the fiercest foe to come up against?
Yeah, during Adelaide's time as an Orion war courier, she saw firsthand the dangers of the Ondarians. Ondar is known for their wand slingers, so basically very skilled battle mages that could essentially level villages with some of the spells that they had, and not all of them were concerned with collateral damage, which led Adelaide to have to make a big sacrifice on her end.
Yeah.
So
Some dark backstory stuff there. It's actually kind of interesting that you mentioned the wand slingers, because you guys have your very own wand slinger in the party, which would be Colton there, as you're using that what is it, patron gifted wand,
The Blackstone Wand.
Yes. All right. Well, wonderful answers, everyone. Okay, so I made a terrible mistake. We started this, but we kind of forgot to do some very important things that we need to do. So let's go ahead and get that out of the way real quick. We're going to roll some initiative real fast. We always do this at the start. So I need some initiative numbers from y'all. Okay, Sarah, what did Deidre get?
Deidre got an 11.
All right, Brock, what'd you get?
Nat 1, baby.
Nat 1. Goodbye, Ted Lasso. We'll miss you the most. Adelaide, what'd you get?
19.
19. And Colton, what'd you get?
10, dead middle.
10, dead middle. All right, wonderful.
Or
Okay,
undead
so
middle.
we got a spread this time around. We also forgot to do the coins. So pull out your d6s, roll them. You get a face 6. You got to hand over one of those coins to me. If you roll anything that's not a 6, oh, did you get a 6? My coin, baby. I also need my normal one. Thank you.
First 6 I've rolled in like 3 or 4 sessions, so I'll take it.
All right. Were you able to keep the rest of yours?
Yes.
Excellent. I put 3 coins. 3 coins in the pool for you. 2 coins in my pool.
I failed you, and I'm sorry.
You should feel bad.
I do.
Let's go ahead and talk about last session.
Alright.
Okay. Now, your characters have. Hold on. Let me put on totally not copyrighted theme music.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm not
This
going to
is
claim who wrote this.
I love how few royalties this has.
Let's not bring attention to it, because if whoever created this is watching, I don't have that conversation. Okay. So, okay. All right. So, last session on Basements and Besties, the Dark Lanterns of Sharn. One of your very own had met a unfortunate end. Your very own Deidre Mills fell in battle with a number of underground wretches known as the Sharn Rats, deep beneath the district of Fallen. Now, you all decided that you were going to make the attempt to bring Deidre back. Why don't you go ahead and tell me a little bit about how that went?
Well, I think our first avenue was we attempted to talk to, because knowing this would cost, at the very least, a good amount of money, we sought out our dear friend, Bonell or Nelview, who unfortunately was unable to meet that request, and we may have touched a bit of a nerve in asking for that.
How so?
Kind of forgetting that he himself suffered a loss of his mother, who he'd probably rather bring back first if he had the resources.
Yes. All right. Now, barring realizing that Bonell or Nelvie may not have the financial connections that you needed to afford such a powerful magic to bring Deidre back to life, what did you then decide to do?
The party went to see Lord Sadrin de Denieth, the head of basically the Sharn chapter of House Denieth, and also her essentially client. She teaches his twins, and he's the father of her good friend Francis. He also seems to be doing a little bit of vigilante work on the side, as Adelaide had learned from Francis. So sort of putting that we were also doing the work to help the people of Sharn out there when we met our unfortunate accident. and also bringing to his mind how, while he wasn't maybe there for Francis when Francis's mother died, Adelaide was, sort of calling in that favor of a discreet resurrection. But we owe him a favor sometime down the road.
Ooh, yep, you owe a very powerful man, the head of House Denieth in Sharn, a favor. Now, and forgive me, I was writing while you were talking. Did you explain why you needed it to be discreet?
We did not. So, a couple of reasons. One, because we are Black Lanterns and we could be made...
Dark Lanterns.
Dark Lanterns. And we can be made if people found out, because typically when people are raised from the dead, it is notated by those doing the raising. But also,
I'm looking for a specific reason. Why don't you go ahead and tell me what that specific reason I'm looking for is, Colin?
Well, when our friend Deidre fell in battle, part of it, in just examining her belongings and making sure that her body was treated with the most respect that we could, we discovered that there is a reason that she wore a high collar all the time. She has an aberrant dragon mark on her body.
Now, I'm going to ask Deidre to jump in here real quick, or Sarah to jump in here real quick for Deidre. What is an aberrant dragon mark?
Aberrant dragon mark is essentially the antecedent to the dragon mark houses. While they are creation, aberrant dragon marks are signs of destruction, and they are basically postulated to be what comes about when two dragon mark members of different houses have a child, or they can appear randomly, but they are just mainly destruction. There was a time when Sharn was actually overrun with aberrant dragon marks, and it revolted, and they tried to destroy the city.
Yes, the fabled War of the Mark. Okay, so you, after speaking with Sadra de Kenneth, Lord Sadra de Kenneth, you were then directed to go somewhere to have Deidre brought back. Where were you instructed to go?
We went to the enclave in Sharn of House Jurasco, the Dragon Mark House of Healing, and they're instructed to speak or to ask for a person called the Matron.
The Matron, yes, a elderly halfling woman who the Jurasco members who mention her name seem to speak of her in hushed whispers. This is denoting not only her importance, but also the sort of gravity of the situation were she to be involved. Now, the Matron became involved, and Connor, how did that pan out?
Well, it panned out pretty okay. The moment we said the word the Matron, a few people and we were escorted into a back area with Dee's body. Her body was examined by some people who were going to keep their mouths shut, and ultimately the Matron was able to bring her back.
Excellent. After taking care of some of, so Dee has been brought back to the world of the living. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you are suffering still from some resurrection sickness there.
Yeah.
What exactly are you suffering from right now?
I have 3 levels of exhaustion.
Yes, so you will need a few days to be able to shake those effects off. But luckily, you're not too much the worse for the wear beyond that. There are many things that can go wrong during a resurrection. In this particular case, we aren't seeing any of those potential other effects. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the two of you remained behind at the Enclave to be checked over for disease after your run-in with the Sharn rats, who seem to enjoy spreading disease as a form of chaos.
Yep.
And the two of you went back to White Stag Manor, where Dee was approached by Darren de Madani, a brown-haired, scruffy-looking nerf herder. Nope, that's a different franchise. A brown-haired, scruffy-looking man with green eyes, who, relatively handsome, I don't know.
He's handsome.
A Harrison Ford-esque visage.
Exactly.
Harrison Ford. He's certainly not my avatar in the world, that's for sure.
No.
who he approached you as he has been trying to get a hold of you ever since you met at the soft opening for the White Stag Manor. You brought him to your room, where he began to unbutton his shirt, revealing, well, let's go ahead and jump in. Darren de Madani, a half-elven man with scruffy brown hair and a beard, brilliant green eyes, stands in Dee's room with his shirt mostly unbuttoned. His bare chest, Dee can see, bears a terrible mark. A reddish-black dragon's head erupting from his skin, seemingly like a boil or a rash. He looks to Dee as she sort of soaks that image in and says, I know what you are, and I think we need to talk.
Dee stumbles forward and, like, closes his shirt and goes, that's fine. We can talk, but you need to stop waving that about, you know.
That's why we are meeting in private.
Yes, I know, but we don't know who's watching.
Do people watch you in your own room?
Just you don't just flash it about. Okay, I get it. You know me, and I know you.
I know what you are. I don't know you, and then you don't really know me, and that's part of why I wanted to have this conversation.
Okay.
You see, I have an ability, you could say, and kind of taps his chest there. I can sense others like us. I can sense others who bear this type of mark,
Okay.
which is very useful in my line of work.
Yeah, with being Madani.
I go by the name Madani. I was born to House Madani, but I am not actually of the house. I find it easier to explain some of my skills
Mm-hmm.
through that lens.
Okay.
The name of a dragon-marked house tends to bear a certain amount of weight with people.
Yep.
Puts them on their back foot, typically. I imagine that, that probably put us on the wrong foot.
It did.
Yes. I had simply come into your establishment to have a drink and had not expected to, run into another.
So how many have you found?
There are a few of us. That is sort of what I'm here to talk to you about. He kind of starts pacing across the room. I served Breland in the last war, as many people did. When I manifested my mark, I sought to hide amongst people who would not necessarily question my usefulness. So I joined the war effort as a way to sort of blend in. When I was there, during those years, I met others who had our same disposition, who bear the mark.
Mm-hmm.
And since we have, after our time with the Braylish army was complete, we returned to the city and formed a group of sorts, a house, you might say.
Yeah.
We call ourselves House Tarkanan.
Right.
Or at least we did. Right? Do you know of us?
Not really.
Well, allow me to give you some context.
Yeah.
Our people, and I'm sure you know, that our people are not necessarily welcome in most polite societies. Hunted, persecuted, feared. This is the reality that people like you and I live every single day. And our leader believed that together we could look out for one another, forge our own way in this world. And what better place to do so than the greatest city in all of Corvair, here in Sharn.
Yeah.
we spent years, she and I and some others, slowly finding others of our same disposition, but also of like-mindedness. People who wanted a community, a place to fit in.
Okay.
People who weren't necessarily afraid to act outside of the bounds of what society would wish us to be, hidden. And along the way, maybe spitting in the face of a few of the more accepted Dragon Mark houses. This worked out well for us for a few years. Recently, there has been something of an issue.
Okay.
A former soldier that we worked with recently has moved into the city, bringing more of our kind with them, but with a slightly different idea of what it is to bear the mark, of what our place in this world could be, a more radical bent, more violent mindset. This man, of course, began attracting other of our own people who weren't satisfied with our less radical tactics in regards to control of the city streets, in regards to how we are treated, in regards to the current structure of who is on top, namely the Dragon Mark houses, and who is on the bottom, namely us. And they seek to change that, but again with more violent methods. Despite our best efforts, me and those who believe, like me, in my leader, we have found ourselves on our own back foot. This new House Tarkanan, this new version of it, has recently begun making harder pushes into the city's more criminal elements to try to gain some level of control. Recently, they began to take over various operations of Dask. Have you heard of Dask?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, okay. Then you understand that Dask are very dangerous people, and what these others are doing, well, it's not necessarily good for people like you and me and for our image. These violent ways in this criminal. So, look, the point is they failed in taking over Dask. Dask is still around, but this set off a war in the streets. Multiple people have already died, and my colleagues and I just want to end this violence. We want to restore our house to the proper vision.
Okay. Where do I come involved in this?
Well, I'm not sure, but you don't strike me as the type of person who seeks to carve their way into becoming a criminal kingpin of sorts. You take care of children here. You've started an establishment. You've already begun to plant roots in the city with this very fine end. Your companions seem like fine people.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that sooner or later, you were going to be approached by either someone of my persuasion or someone of their persuasion. I felt it was necessary for you and I to talk first.
Okay.
Where's your part? I would love it if you would join us.
Okay.
But I can understand that that's a very large ask. So, at the very least, I'm asking you to please consider that when you meet others of our kind here, they may speak to you with honeyed words, and they may speak to your desire to change your situation. Clearly a situation, kind of like gestures to the collar on the neck, clearly a situation you're not particularly proud of.
No. But none of us should really be. We're not supposed to be here. You know that, right? Where?
I believe that we have just as much of a place in this world as anyone else.
Okay. You know the story, right? How the last time we all got together. How we...
It is a very interesting story, and that's exactly what it is. History and stories are often very different things.
I'm sure that if I came across another guy that wanted to kill people, then no, I don't like that guy. You seem reasonable, albeit still problematic, but for the order of things and how they are. Me getting involved obviously puts more heat on me and what I am than what I was before, which I don't like. But I'm not going to help this other side if they're wanting to hurt people.
That's fair, and that's more than anyone can ask. It's to not bring your talents. Do you know what your mark does?
Kind of new.
Sure.
But-
I'm not going to ask that. I feel that'd be kind of rude.
Can I do detect thoughts on him?
Sure, you certainly can.
So I need an opposed wisdom.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
I'm going to do the sleight of hand to try to hide it from him, but he has to roll that first.
Okay, so he has to roll first the wisdom.
To see
Okay.
if it's successful, and then I have to do a sleight of hand check opposed to his insight check.
Okay, he got a pretty decent roll. He got a 17.
So mine is it's intelligence. Hang on 1 second. This is the first time I'm using it, so I apologize.
We leveled up to 3, by the way.
Huh?
We leveled up to 3.
Yeah, I did.
I know.
Okay.
No, I wasn't.
Oh, okay. Well, I got a 16 on the die, plus my intelligence, which is going to be 19.
Okay, did he beat the saving throw?
That it's an oppose.
You said I had to roll the will saving throw first,
Okay.
right? How you read the ability and tell me how it works?
Detect thoughts as an action, no verbal component, in intelligent or charisma. Then it cuts off.
Okay.
So,
All right.
but we'll say my intelligence would be a 13, so he beats it.
Okay. All right. So what does that look like to him? Like what does he see?
I'm intensely like staring into his eyes.
Okay. And then did you say that you did sleight of hand to make sure he's not aware of it?
Yeah.
So he is aware of it then.
No, because then he has to do a wisdom saving throw, insight specifically, against my sleight of hand.
Okay. When you cast, they make a wisdom saving throw. So first of all, if they make the wisdom saving throw, did they beat your DC?
Yes.
The spell just failed.
Okay.
But you were trying to hide it, so we'll now roll the opposed check to see if he notices that you tried to cast something like this.
16 done. Sleight of hand. 21.
You sort of stare intently at him. He sort of cocks an eyebrow at you. And he says, "Your neck's glowing."
Yeah.
And so he's clearly caught. Like he
caught
caught you. So he goes, "Your neck's glowing." He goes,
I can probe people's heads.
"Oh. Well, please don't. It's somewhat of a violation, I feel. But impressive nonetheless."
Just don't worry. You won't have anything to worry about.
Well, be that as it may. Look, I can understand why you may not trust me. And clearly I've kind of maybe touched a nerve if you're trying to reach into my mind. He's like backing up, by the way, a little bit. And you, by the way, did you know that he moves with the grace of a trained soldier?
Mm-hmm.
He moves in very similar fashion to how you have been trained to move, with the sartorial defense.
Right.
So he moves with the grace of a trained soldier as he steps back, and he goes, and he kind of puts his hand on the doorknob and goes, "Look, I didn't mean to offend you, and there's too much yet at stake for me to allow you to go rooting around in here. But while I can't speak for my leader, I do believe that were you to assist us, if you decided that you did want to be more active with your people. I believe I could get you. I believe that you and especially your abilities could be very, very useful to us. And I'm sure you could learn a lot about who you are, maybe more than just stories from us. But I know how that sounds, so let's just leave it at this. If you wish to contact me further, if you wish to know more information, or perhaps if you hear anything about the other side of things, place a red handkerchief in your window. I will know that you wish to speak further then.
Can you answer me one question about your leader? Does he have snakes for hair?
She does not.
Mm.
And Darren will walk out of the room at this point.
What?
As he walks out, by the way, kind of just, yeah, he just not. And then walks out. As he opens the door, he suddenly erupts into laughter. That's great. That's a great story. Fantastic. Thank you for letting me see. This is a beautiful place. You see, you out there in the maybe the common room there. You see Darren kind of walking out of her room there. Wow.
Oh, sorry. I was downstairs.
No, you're up in the common room right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So as he walks in the common room there, he looks at you and goes, "Oh, well, that's amazing. That's great. Wow. Hey, sorry. Hi, Darren Damondani.
Adelaide Oleander.
Wonderful. Pleasure to meet you. Sorry. She was just showing me around here a bit. I'm going to see myself. That's the door right over there?
Yes.
Yeah. Excellent. Have a wonderful day. And he will leave. Down in the common room, by the way, the entire area was just so busy, being that this is the actual true opening day? Yeah, because today was the race. It is just absolute packed wall to wall down there. So at this point, so you've left. You can hear her talking to him, and you hear the door close behind him, and you know that he is gone.
Okay. I'm gonna poke my head out. Hey.
Are you alright?
Yeah, just tired. Very tired.
I'm gonna sort of nudge my head in the direction of like where he just exited. Is everything alright?
Yeah, he's just interested. And I'm tired.
Interested in like you, or like romantically, or like
Yeah, it's me. He's interested in me.
okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty fast. You just close your door.
So after making sure your companion, who had recently got through a harrowing ordeal, and you had helped bring back to life, you realize that she is in fact okay. So you were wanting to go back down to the common room and see what was going on there, or what? Were you wishing to do
I
down
was
there?
gonna sort of see if there were who I know that's down there. If there was anyone familiar from like our soft opening down there.
Let's go ahead and take a look at who is at the White Stag. I actually have a random generator for this. I created a random generator for who is in the White Stag tonight. So let's go ahead and find out. Let's see. Okay, people that you might know. Of interest. Oh, hold on. Okay. Ooh. Sorry. Hold on. I gotta think about that. I'm thinking about this. I'm doing this. You see Bono and Nelview's friends that you had met before, or if you see who is there with them. You see. No. Hold on. I'm not asking you. I'm asking this real quick. So Bonell is there specifically at the table. He has looks like he has there's a kind of that the bigger man who was doing arm wrestling the other night. The kind of bigger man with the strawberry blonde hair and the big scruffy beard wearing the armor. He is seated at the table with Bonell, and looks like they speak as if they know each other. And you also have a very curvaceous dwarven woman with red hair, with large goggles on her head, and she's got she's wearing like leathers, is also seated at the table, and they're all the three of them are sharing shots. You also see who else? Let me see. Let me give you one. Let's see. You also see. Goodness, I'm sorry. Hit a commercial. There we go. I keep rolling the same people over and over again. Like, please.
Basements and Besties is sponsored by Etsy.
Basements and Besties. Well, it kind of is. Not Etsy, but by an Etsy shop. You also see on the table is Jalster Silvermane. But there's also just a ton of people in the tavern tonight. You can see that the three twins are working overtime to make sure that they are keeping them.
The curvy dwarf with Bonal, is it Balafra that you're describing?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I would have said Balafra.
Okay. Then if I can get like eye contact from Bonal, I'll sort of try and make wave and say hi to him, and if I can get a moment to talk to him briefly. But if he's like talking to people, I'm not going to try and interrupt him.
He is talking to people. Those two people, in fact.
Okay.
So, do you interrupt him or not?
I'm not going to interrupt him. I'm going to wait and try and make eye contact with him when he's not in conversation.
Okay. Okay. So you're trying to. So your goal is to get. What is your overall goal?
I want to talk to him, but I don't want to rudely interrupt his conversation.
Okay. So you see a lull in the conversation.
Okay.
And he sees you and he gestures to a nearby seat and says, "Oh."
And I'll go over and say, "It's good to see you again."
He goes. You see the big, the kind of rougher looking man lean over. And goes, "Hey, you're a pretty lass. Name's Lorcan Greypike.
Lorcan Greypike.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Adelaide Olay."
Hey, Bonal, you didn't tell me that you had such pretty friends. And you see the dwarf woman just roll her eyes as she leans back. She leans back and she goes, "I don't pay attention to that loudmouth braggart. He always wants to call women beautiful. He thinks that'll get you to spend some time with him. But she won't be doing that, Lorcan." And Lorcan goes, "All right."
What was your name? I don't think we've met before.
Oh, she goes, "Well, nice to meet you. I'm Summer Coroner. Summer Coroner." She kind of pauses there on that name.
Summer Coroner. Does it sound familiar?
Give me a culture check.
This wouldn't be etiquette.
This would not. Or history. Culture or history.
We'll do culture, which is intelligence, correct? So it's only a 6. Or, no, sorry, 8.
This is not a name you recognize.
Okay.
But you get the impression that maybe you should. She goes, "I'm a coroner."
Oh,
And you must be...
Adelaide Oleander.
Adelaide Oleander. Bonal, you were telling us all about her, weren't you? Bonal goes, "Well, yes, of course. She is one of the proprietors of this fine establishment, the White Stag Manor." And you hear people go, "Yeah!" And you realize Bonal is very drunk. He goes, "And you guys are doing a great. Look at all these people. Last night was like I was worried, but today it is fantastic. Look at all these people here. It's great. It's wonderful. It's a beautiful thing." But Adelaide, she was one of the ones who saved me and chat. And she goes, "Oh, that's right. That's where I heard you from." Well, yeah, we hear that you're he's been saying that you're the adventuring type. Is that true?
Yes, we're adventurers and proprietors.
Well, if you're adventurers in Clifftop, why haven't you joined the guild?
Well, we're still fairly new. We've been looking into it, but we haven't...
Looking into it? What you should do is you should march right into their guild hall, and you should say, "I demand to speak with the manager." And then you get yourself a nice conversation, and then you get yourself in. That's what I'd do if I were you. Of course, I wouldn't do that as me, but I'd do that as you.
Oh, well, I'll suggest it to my companions. We sort of do everything together, the four of us.
Well, that makes sense. Companions are extremely important, ones that you can trust, especially in the adventuring lifestyle. Back when I did my time as an adventurer, whoo boy, I had some companions I trusted with my very life. I also had some I didn't trust so much, if you know what I mean. Lorcan was one of the ones I trusted quite a bit. In fact, I was there when he got that big old blue axe on his back. And you see Lorcan, he's got this sheathed weapon, and he perks up at that time and he kind of reaches over and pulls out this fucking weapon in the middle of your bar and puts it on the table as this bright blue axe that's like humming with energy.
Oh my, that's massive.
Yeah, you see the blade itself is made of like this blue metal. He goes, I call it the Azure Blade. Breland's blue! Breland's blue! And you see a bunch of people go, yeah! Yeah! She goes, put that damn thing away. Nobody wants to be seeing you, tool. I'm talking about his penis. It's a metaphor. That guy gets it! So anyway, so what were you saying? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, just that we're still fairly new to the adventuring life.
Fairly new. Well, the guild has a lot of great tips and tricks. They have a whole library there of all kinds of things you can learn. What I'd do is I'd march right in and I'd say, I want to speak to the manager and see the library, and you'll learn everything you can. Plus, they have their own private bar. With the finest spirits from all over the world. That's right, Zendrick. Some spirits from Sarlona, and even a couple of choice treats from tribes in Arganessen. Ooh!
Quite impressive.
Well, why be the kind of adventurer that just hangs out in your hometown when you could be the type of adventurer that sees the world? That's what I always say. That's what my grandfather said too.
Yes, my own father mentioned his time back in the days going on trips to Zendrick, but I've unfortunately not left Corvair.
Oh, was he an adventurer too?
Well, he worked for House Orion, or works for House Orion.
Oh, all right. What do you do?
Oh, well, he's a station master.
So he's House Orion.
Yes.
Oh, so you're House Orion.
Well, I was. Wartime technicalities, I'm afraid.
All the better for the adventuring lifestyle, then, without having to be weighed down by one of the houses, eh? I prefer a little bit of freedom. That's me. Well, of course, freedom with structure, like a guild structure.
That's true. That is true. I definitely need to mention when they're sort of all scattered to the winds right now. But when we're together, talk about the guild.
Oh, back when I would go places with the adventures, some of my companions were the most annoying. Anywhere I'd go, they'd have to be right there, right? You pretty much couldn't take a piss in the woods without pretty much all of them saying, "Well, I was only 5 feet away from you the entire time." Got real close. You know what I mean? They used to have a saying, "Don't split the party," but I say, "Split them up." Because how can I miss you if you don't go away?
Fair point.
Speaking of going away, I think I may actually have to take that thing I mentioned.
Yes.
Yep. And she stands up and walks off. Bonell just kind of goes, "Oh, Summer!" No, Summer's the manager of the Clifftop Adventure. Well, not really. She's really the guild master.
That's what I've wondered.
Her grandfather Shekel Corner, started the entire thing, actually.
Quite impressive.
It is. Yeah, a very, very long line of impressive people. Lorcan goes, "Yeah, well, some of us had to make our own name without our family name, eh?" He kind of slaps Bonell on the back and goes, "Yes, family, yeah." Yes. How was your day?
Good. We had to make a couple of errand stops and.
When is the funeral?
What are you talking about, darling? There is none. No, darling. There was a little bit of an upset with all the sickness from last night, but everyone's fine. They're sleeping it off.
I thought you said...
No, darling. And...
Yeah, this guy's been drinking a bit too much. Look at his face, and he goes, "Hey, you want a drink?"
Of course.
Well, let's get fucking ripped. Hey, which one? Number two, and one of the three twins floats over and kind of gives him a look, and she goes, "It's number 2. She's my favorite. Hey, we want three shots. One for me, one for my friend here, and one for that confused looking rich boy right here." And when I goes, yes, three shots. All right. And the night from there, is there anything else you want to specifically speak with him about?
No, given his drunken state, what I was gonna say, I'm just gonna wait.
Yep. The night devolves into drinking and carousing as eventually you guys come home and come back to a late at night to a bar filled with very drunk people. And if you wish to, you are able to find a way to catch up with them and have a few drinks.
Yes.
But we will go ahead and say that it's been a long and harrowing day.
Yeah.
So I think at this point, I think we will go ahead and wrap up this evening.
Okay.
The next day begins like most others. You hear the sounds. You're awoken to the delightful sounds of loud children out in the common room. As you peek your heads out your doors, you can see that two of the children are seated at a couch, or on like the seating couch, while a blue-haired young woman is sitting in front of a set-up chalkboard, kind of going over mathematical equations. As you remember, that's a luck. As you remember, Gilda Dune said that a tutor would be hired for the children, and they are the children are currently going through that. Hold on. I know I said two of the children. It is Jeremy and Sprat.
So not Kelsey's
my-
not there.
My look was presumably not a familiar blue-haired woman.
No.
Okay.
Blue, different colored hairstyles are very common in Sharn, as the ability to dye hair is a simple wave of a prestidigitation wand by a trained hairstylist. So no, not that blue.
Okay.
No, you see, Sprat and Jeremy are currently writing on little writing equations with their tutor on their little personal chalkboards there. As they look up to you, Jeremy looks up and just kind of gives a smile as you walk through the room. Sprat looks up and then looks towards the empty seat on the couch and kind of leans towards the door that leads outside. And but snaps her attention back to the tutor.
I'm gonna try to sneak outside to catch Calcis skipping.
Okay, sure. So you head downstairs, and you can see as you kind of walk past the windows at the bottom floor of the White Stag Manor, you can see Kelsis is you see Kelsis is being sternly talked to by Gertie Dune through the window. You can see Gertie is standing over him and kind of wagging her finger at him through the window.
Oh, I'm going to approach to see what's up.
Do any of the rest of you join her?
Getting breakfast.
So still going downstairs? Or
I'm gonna stay up and do some work upstairs so I can kind of keep
sure,
an eye
sounds
on
like a
the other
plan.
ones.
What about you?
Brock is going to be experimenting in his room.
Okay, so the two of you in the corner, you should maybe ignore this whole thing and kind of move off towards the kitchen. You go in and you see, as you walk in the common room, it's completely empty at this point because it's early in the morning. The inn has not quite opened, or the tavern has not opened yet. You see, Brad McGurdy is currently is in the big hearth, which is not currently lit, and is using a stick to kind of, I almost got it. And Gertie is standing over Kelsis, who's like lower lip is trembling, and she's got her hand on her hip and the finger pointing at him, not like right in his face, but you see that she is saying something to him, but as soon as you walk into the room, she stops and looks at you and says, Miss M.
Yes.
Kelsis, would you like to explain the situation to Miss M, or would you prefer that I do it? And Kelsis, the little tiefling boy with the one eye, kind of looks up, and you can see that there's like a tear welling up in his eye, and his lower lip is trembling, and he's kind of holding, he's like his hand is like his hands are clenched like this, right here, and he goes, go ahead, young Kelsis. Explain to Miss M the situation. And he unfurls his hand, and you can see that there are three silver coins in his hand.
Where did those come from?
I got these from Brock's Mr. Brock's room. We wanted some snacks for the morning, and we didn't have any money, and there wasn't anything in the kitchen that didn't require to be made, and we tried to make it. We made a mess in the kitchen, and then Gertie caught us because of making a mess. But I went up to the room because I was going to go ahead and get some coins, and I found some coins in Brock's room. I know they're not supposed to be in there, but we were going to pay him back. But then we figured that it might be fun to have a nice little snack because you guys haven't been around much in the past couple of days to get us nice little snacks. We want nice little snacks, and all we ever really have in the is like eggs and like meat, and we don't really want the eggs and meat. We want lizard on a stick.
Okay, all right, I get it. You stole.
Borrowed. And Gertie just kind of narrows her eyes and looks down and goes, and he goes, yeah.
Okay, so you don't steal, right? Because you don't need to. All you gotta do...
Well, I don't have no ways to make money, Miss Miss M. Miss DM.
You just come and ask us, any one of us, and Miss Dune here...
But you weren't around, you were dead.
I was wondering.
No, you're not. Unless you're like, Liv! And he like sort of like perks up for just half a second.
I'm not like Liv. I'm fine. Miss Dune, I will make sure Miss Dune has some funds available for you that you can ask her if we're not here, and then you can go to get it. You don't need to steal anything.
But if we don't go soon, then I won't be able to get lizard out of the stick, and we really want lizard out of the stick. So just like tears coming. And as this happens, you see you hear the clatter of the broom as Braun kind of stands up and goes, oh. Hey, he kind of walks over to the situation. Gertie's kind of like saying, kind of just like shaking her head. It's very clear that Gertie believes that this is a kind of a show that Kelsis may be putting on for you.
Oh.
And Braun kind of comes over and goes, well, hey, if you don't mind, I was actually about to head to the market because we're out of a couple of supplies, and I would be happy to get. Maybe show the young man where to get lizard out of the stick, and I can, of course, take care of it myself for the kids, because you guys have been paying us quite well.
He actually needs to be upstairs taking his tutoring classes, and then he can get lizard on the stick. No problem.
But they're gonna close before the classes end, and he starts like very and Mark goes, I don't know in this situation if he's in his current. He kind of goes and kind of like nods, like kind of jerks his head over, like they kind of bring you aside and goes, "Look, my dad, when I was a wee boy, used to he'd be a real hard ass, and often I'd go to school with like tears like streaming down my face and such, and it did not turn out so well. Kids typically aren't kind, you know what I mean, and it can be very embarrassing for a young boy to, especially a young tiefling boy, I'd imagine, to be seen in such a vulnerable state. I kind of figured we just take a quick walk, perk him up a little bit, and I bet you'd pay a lot more attention.
That works.
I don't mean to step on your toes. They ain't my kids or anything. They ain't your kids either. But you know what I mean. You're the boss. So I just I don't know. I just see the boy and I kind of feel.
I'm gonna go back to Kelsis.
All right. Gertie goes, no, as Miss M said, you'll need to go back upstairs. And he goes, but...
Kelsis.
I didn't mean
it. Give me the coins. Thank you.
Hands the 3 coins over and goes...
Mr. McGurty is going to take you this once to go get your lizard on the stick now.
3 lizards on the stick.
3 lizards on the stick.
Because I need 1 for Sprat and I need 1 for... and I need 4. We need 4 for Justin L.
4 lizards on a stick. Mr. McGurty is going to go with you, but when you get back, you will go to class. Do you understand?
Yeah.
This is not going to happen again.
Mm-hmm.
And you will not steal again, right?
No, ma'am. Not from you. Mm-mm. Or Mr. Brock.
Anyone.
Not from you guys again. Nope.
All right. Good enough. How much does lizard on a stick cost?
He puts his hand on the board shoulder. He goes, I've got it.
Okay.
Hey, let me treat the kids. Hey, all right.
Alright.
Come on, kid. Let's go shop. You want to ride on my shoulders? Huh? And Kels looks at him and goes, no, I'm way too big. And he goes, oh. And Kelsey then laughs and like climbs up on his shoulder. Of course I do. And then like, and you just see them as they go out the door. You can just see as they run by the fence. It's just so.
I love Brown and Gertie so much.
Okay. What are you two currently doing upstairs again? You were doing some research of some sort.
The sound of a loud like furniture being dragged across the floor, as well as the occasional chuckle, is emanating from Brock's room.
I wonder what could be going on in there.
Could be anything.
Not a damn thing, is that what you said?
Could be anything. Yeah.
I couldn't know.
You put a bed up against the wall. Who does that? Who does that?
Maniac!
I'm a fucking maniac!
Absolute mad lad.
Like a dog.
What, and you're upstairs doing what?
I was sort of checking on the other two, making sure that studies were going okay, but then, do we actually have anything in our library, or no? Like, as far as, like, books and things?
There are some old dusty books, but that are still there, but most of them are, like, a couple of treatises on, like, history, but, like recent history books of Braylish history. You see a fair amount of novels detailing various love stories.
Okay.
But nothing of any. But that's just it's a small collection though, and largely it's the kind of stuff that you can find. Like it's all like common knowledge or trash novels.
Okay. If I can, I may try to run to a store, specifically Balafra's store.
Okay. So you want to go to her potion shop?
Yes.
What books do we have? Okay, I want to go to the potion shop. Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, okay, I see that line of thought. All right, so you want to head to Balafra's?
Just going into the kitchen, rummaging around for some food.
Inside the kitchen, you can see that the fire is already lit. You can see two men who look very similar to each other. Two human men with neatly. One has a neatly trimmed beard. The other one is completely clean shaven. Their hair, their hair, which is their parted brown hair. One is parted to this side, the other one is parted to this side, and they are currently arguing over what to put in the soup. These are your two new cooks.
Colton is going to try and just very carefully, like, just completely avoid, just like stealthing through, just trying to like not get their attention and just grab like maybe a piece of bread.
Celery! Celery's filler! Why would we put celery in the stew? Filler is important. We can't just always put put ingredients that cost a lot of money in there because we don't have a lot of money. It's not our money we're spending. It's not our money, and their patrons will pay more for better stuff. We don't make better stuff, and celery is cheap, and we have plenty of it. I'd say we should use turnips. Turnips! You always say turnips! Nobody wants turnips! Well, I can't when you're like this. Mom was right. You are the evil one.
Okay, at that, there's like...
And they both turn around at you and go, what?
Celery's fine. And I just, I sideways...
The one without the beard just kind of goes, fucking celery.
I just scoot right the fuck out of there.
Yeah, sounds good. You get there right as Bron McGurdy and Kelsis are leaving. You see Gertie is sitting there and goes, well, that was fun. We have much... I was trying to convince the young man that it is important to explain his actions, especially when he is in someone else's home.
Yeah, this kind of is home too, you know. He lives there.
I'm not sure that they see it that way.
Well, maybe if we make it seem that way, they'll think of it that way too.
You look tired, dear.
Yeah, I just woke up.
You look very tired, dear.
Like,
by the way, you are only suffering 2 levels of exhaustion now. You look very tired, dear.
Yeah.
You need a glass of tea. She'll kind of like lead you over to the bar and kind of gesture. Let me get you a spot of tea. I always start my morning off that way.
Thank you. Yeah.
What happened?
Well, I died.
She kind of stops there for a second and goes,
Yeah.
what do you mean you died?
Look, I just got the shit kicked out of me, and then woke up, and now I feel like I have a hangover.
Oh, I thought, for a moment there, I thought you meant that you died.
No, I just got knocked out really bad.
I see. Well, that is the adventuring lifestyle.
Yeah. Well,
You look like you could, if I may be so bold, you look like you could use another day or two of rest. In fact, you must have been hit pretty hard.
yeah. I'm very tired, but I had to get up. We can't stay in bed all day, can we? Got stuff to do. Did we get everything taken care of from last night?
Well, everything is everything ran swimmingly, and the two brothers were sort of feeling their way around the kitchen, but everyone was well fed and well in drink, and we made quite a bit of money. I'd say fairly successful. Not quite as busy as it could have been, I would say. Probably considering the night, the events from the night previously.
Yeah.
But nonetheless successful, I would say. For a first-time tavern owning experience.
Oh, you're the expert. You know more about it than I do, so.
Oh, merely a manager, my dear. Merely a manager.
But you're good at what you do, so I appreciate it. You said two brothers.
Oh, excuse me. Hold on. I see Miss Adelaide there. And you see you kind of start running outside, and you see Gertie Doon is running outside. Miss Adelaide, Miss
Yes.
Adelaide. Are you going to the market?
I was going to run a couple of errands. Yes, I need to stop by.
Excellent. She produces a list and hands it over, and it's just filled with like things that the store excellent.
I'm going to need a basket.
From what she has, it's like this is gonna be a lot for one person to get, for one person to carry.
Anyone want to go to the stores with me? Oh, you're upstairs, aren't you?
And you're outside.
Oh.
They're inside. You're outside.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Hey, you run back upstairs to get a basket. Realize you may need more. You hear furniture moving. You see by the way, as you're coming down the stairs, the tutor is leading the children down the stairs past you. We're going to learn outside today, and like the kids are going making
It's
sounds.
a lovely day for it.
As you go, you can hear the sound of the furniture moving all over the place, and just intermediate laughter.
Everything all right, Brock?
Yeah, come in, look.
I hesitantly open the door.
Okay, so Brock has, like, the pieces of furniture in his room have been moved, not in, like, any sort of rhyme or reason way. There are, like, crossbow bolts embedded into various furniture items. He says, "Hey, Adelaide, check this out." And you can see that he has affixed, basically a piece of metal onto one of his gloves, and there is a small crystal behind it. And you watch as he points it at the bed frame, which the mattress has been moved, and an electric current runs through the metal, and the bed frame starts to slide over towards him.
That's so cool.
And he looks at you and back at the bed frame and back at you it's pretty cool, right?
Like you're bringing it towards
Yeah.
you with the.
Yeah, I can do it with the chair too.
That's fascinating, and also we really need to get you like a workspace, don't we?
Yes. This is a cry for help. Anyway, did you need something?
Well, I'm going to the stores, and there's quite a lot on Gilda's list. So I need a basket and maybe a set of hands if someone wanted to come.
Oh
with
yeah,
me.
absolutely. Yeah, well, with all the serious stuff that's been going on, it'll be a nice change of pace.
Yes, and also I owe an apology.
You do? Oh, okay.
To Balafra.
Oh. Yeah, about the. Oh, yeah. There was a lot going on, but yeah, I'll go and back you up.
Yeah, we should probably be on good terms if we can with the local
The neighbors, yeah, absolutely.
brewer.
Yeah. Yeah, lead the way.
Right.
And so you guys are beginning to leave. You start gathering your things. You go to a shop. You are drinking your nice tea, and you're sitting just a little bit down from the bar. Imagine kind of Just kind of be seeing through the reflection of the lift, going through and like cleaning dishes and such.
Just kind of fascinated by the fact that I can see him. Like,
Woo!
Oh no! Where did that come
Suddenly,
from?
suddenly the entire the entire building shakes. You can see your drink, falls out of your hand. The teapot actually crashes to the floor. Gilda stops and looks towards and starts looking around frantically. You hear the sound of like high pitched yelling from outside, and the entire building shakes as you can hear a distant explosion.
The
I'm
kids!
running
I'm
towards
like,
the kids.
yeah, I run to make sure.
run
the
to the
kids-
window to look outside and see what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So you rush outside, and you can see that the children are standing there. They're kind of just staring off into the distance alongside the tutor who had just set up. You see a number of other people out in the streets as well. Looking off into the distance, you can see towards the marketplace. There's a large plume of smoke rising from the marketplace itself. The nearby one.
Get them inside. I tell the tutor. I start running.
I start hobbling as fast as I can.
Hell. I follow them.
Brock's gonna grab Lucille and start following them. Yep.
Excellent. Just one moment here to set up.
Yeah.
Explosion. Why, yes, we will run toward that. Well, what do we do? That was the greatest line ever.
Fuck this setup!
After all the work you put in.
Fuck it out! We're so. Sorry.
There is absolutely nothing going on with me.
Oh.
There's nothing going
Yeah,
on.
we're fine, guys. We're good.
You run down the street towards the marketplace, where you can see plumes of smoke rising. The scene before you is straight out of a nightmare. Smoke rises from buildings that are ablaze with flames. In the streets between, you can see the ground is covered in a massive scorch mark, and a number of bodies lie within. Some moving, many not. Crowds of people stare from a distance and at the blaze, watching in horror as the flames threaten to ignite nearby shops and homes. You can see from your perspective, 3 buildings are currently on fire, and from inside of those buildings, you hear the sound of screaming. What do you do?
I make a break for the nearest building.
Hold on, I don't need everybody to talk at once. Connor, we're going to go to you first. Or I'm sorry, we're going to go initiative order. Adelaide, what do you do?
I run to the nearest building with
Which
screaming.
building is the nearest building to you? You're going to go to this one, and this
That
one.
one.
So you go to the farthest building away, so you go over here. All right, so you, where's your miniature? Grab that. You start to rush towards this building over here. As you run across, you run past like forms lying on the ground. So again, some moving, some not. But you rush towards the sound of screaming that's coming from inside this building. We then go to Deirdre. Deirdre, what are you doing?
I'm gonna go to the nearest building to me, which would be this one.
Excellent. So you're being rushed towards another building, kind of breaking apart from Adelaide. You two, you're stepping over bodies. Here's where the biggest of the black scorch mark is. It's centered right around here, and you are stepping over like skeletons, like charred skeletal remains, running towards this building that is on fire and already and mostly ruined from what you can see.
But I can still hear people from inside.
As I said, yes, absolutely.
They both broke toward building. Colton will run for the third one and head this way to this building that's on fire.
Excellent. Cold begins to run for the third building, stepping over bodies of people. The crowd back there kind of watches in just silent horror as the fires are threatening to spread. But you begin to run towards the buildings and the people screaming inside. What do you do?
Brock is going to make for the same building on the far side that Adelaide went to.
Okay, excellent. So you're going to go and try to help her.
Yeah.
Inside. Okay, excellent. So you each have broken apart to try to get in and potentially, I assume, save the people inside. Is that your intention?
Yes.
Is trying to save the people inside. Excellent. Okay. So the two of you begin to kind of go through this building. You can see timbers are threatening to fall at any moment. You can see that the rooms are filled with a choking smoke. So what I need from you, and it'll be for you the same for you guys as well here in a second, I need a Constitution saving throw from each one of you.
21.
Also 21.
Okay. You throw maybe some kind of making sure to keep your head down and try to stay below the smoke as best you can. You're able to make it inside the building and begin to move through, trying to get towards the sound of yelling that you can hear, cries for help inside of the building. So what I need is from the two of you, I need an athletics or an acrobatics check. And then I want you to explain to me, well, we'll find out if you see, then you're going to explain to me kind of what's happening here.
I'm doing acrobatics.
Brock got a 13 athletics.
Unsuccessful.
17 acrobatics.
17. Okay, so you get in there and you're trying to look beams and such out of the way, and you find yourself basically blocked off by fallen beams.
Yeah.
And you realize that getting that moving this obstruction, you cannot see a way to do it without potentially engulfing yourself in flames and putting and increasing the danger. Adelaide, what do you see that he doesn't?
Instead of trying to move things out of the way, Adelaide is using her speed and agility, and she's actually like tumbling and jumping through rather than trying to move things. She's weaving around.
Excellent. I'm sorry, did your dragon mark give you any benefit to acrobatics?
I think it gave me proficiency in acrobatics.
Yeah,
so
sorry,
it's glowing, and that's probably also why she's fast.
She's moving at almost above human speeds at this point. Okay, you inside of the burning building, you see a kind of an older man locked on the second floor. He's covered in soot. He's covered. Help me, please! Please!
Come to me. I'm coming to you.
All right, you were able to get to the man, and you are able to pull him out of the building.
Okay.
All right. We then go to Deirdre. Okay. Similar situation for you. You can hear the sound of screaming inside this building. You heard the sound of screaming coming from inside this building, but as you are entering, it cuts off. So I need you to first roll me that Constitution saving throw. Let's see if the smoke is going to affect you.
That's a 12.
You are in fact poisoned. You take in a big deep breath of this smoke, and you're finding yourself like coughing and hacking as you're trying to move through here. You have disadvantage on checks throughout this situation. So what I need from you to try to find and save this person is I need you to give me either an acrobatics or athletics check.
Acrobatics or athletics.
Correct.
Okay. And then you said I have disadvantage.
Yes. And this isn't really your ability to find somebody as much as your ability to stay alive while you're trying to find them. It's not a big building, but it's filled with dangers.
14.
14. You are able to find you do find a woman. What appears to be a elven woman. She is unconscious. And what was the check that you rolled, acrobatics or athletics?
Oh, I'm sorry, I rolled acrobatics.
Okay, excellent. So you see like there's a portion of the floor that's well, you explain to me how you were able to find this unconscious woman.
Seeing that there's this huge billowing smoke, and that the stairs are out, I do one of the wall jumps to push off and get to the next landing to get to the upper floor.
Excellent. You find an unconscious elven woman dressed in what may have been in soot-covered robes. And what do you? How do you get her out of there?
I'm going to try to probably fire manner, like throw over my shoulder.
Sure.
And make my way down.
You're able to drag this unconscious woman out of the building. Okay, excellent. We then go to Colton. Colton, you go into this building right over here, and you can hear the sound of 2 people screaming. They're very high pitched yells, and in fact, one of them seems familiar to you. As you hear the yelling voice of Kelsus from inside the building, who had gone to the marketplace just earlier today, not 20 minutes ago, to go get some lizard on a stick. You hear his voice inside this building alongside another higher pitched voice. I need you to roll a Constitution saving throw to see if you can survive the smoke inhalation.
15.
15. You are able to cover your mouth and keep yourself low well enough to avoid the worst of it. So you could hear the sounds of the yelling from inside this building. To bypass the dangers within, I need you to give me either an acrobatics or an athletics check.
Okay, it'll be athletics. Oh, I'm going to use a coin to re-roll that nat one.
Good idea.
This is a time.
Much better. 16.
Okay. You as you go through, you follow the sound primarily of Kelsus's voice. You find him hidden in a kitchen. How do you get to him though? How do you get to him?
Okay, so getting to him, basically soldier training kicks in, and it's basically just remove as efficiently as possible. You know, don't try to move every single obstacle out of the way. Get the easiest ones. Use what little strength. Use as the most efficient strength I can to make an efficient path.
Sure. So you're moving flaming furniture out of the way and such, creating a path. You find yourself. You see that maybe a barrier has fallen against the door, and you kind of remove that. And beyond the door, you see a kitchen that's flames are running along the walls. You see a soot-covered Kelsus who's got tears in his eyes, and he's like screaming. He's like huddled underneath the table, screaming in terror. You are able to pull him out of the building. Cool. You still hear the sound. Kelsus is coughing at this point, but you still hear the sound of someone else screaming for help in that other building. Hold on here. Oh, as you start to go out, though, as you're carrying Kelsus out, the sound of that other yelling goes quiet. Okay. Okay, we'll go ahead and go back to the top of the round. Adelaide, you can see that you managed to pull this person out of the building. You don't hear any more screams inside of yours. You can see, again, they're the dead and the dying littered all over the streets. You can see the flames are threatening to jump from building to building. And you can also see that there's a whole crowd of people who seem to be just standing back with wide-eyed fear in their eyes. What do you do?
I'm going to turn to the people. We need to put out the fires, get the water from the well, make a fireman chain. And I'm going to start trying to direct people to put out fire. And I'm going to go and grab whatever I can to get water, and I'm going to start working on these buildings.
So right now we're saying you're trying to convince the people.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so you're trying to work on convincing the people. What about Deirdre? You just pulled up this unconscious woman, you unconscious woman in soot-stained robes. You put her off to a safe distance from this burning building. You see Adelaide's coming out trying to yell at trying to get the people up to help. You see Colton is coming out of the building. You see he's got Kelsus in his arms, who's coughing and choking, but seems to be safe. You see Brock kind of dazed walking out of that other room. What do you do?
I'm running towards Colton, and then McGurdy. Where's McGurdy? Where's Ron McGurdy?
I don't know. Kelsus, where's Braun?
He's coughing. He's coughing. Do you guys wish to have this conversation about the building's burning?
If he doesn't know, I'm going to run into
Right,
the building.
My question is not that he doesn't know. He said because if you're asking Kelsus, right?
I'm asking.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
So then I'm going to run to the building where I saw them come out of to try to see if I can find McGurdy.
Sounds good. You step over a number of a number of charred skeletons and such as you rush in there, and bodies. And you find yourself in the building. You can hear the sound of a higher voice yelling. You hear nothing. You hear nothing inside of there.
Brock is going, once he makes his way out of the building, looks and kind of notices all the dying people for the first time, and is going to pull out the healer's kit that he bought for way too much money and get to work using it, trying to save as many people as he can.
Okay, excellent. So at this point, what I need here is I need a persuasion check from you to convince the people who are to help.
Okay. I'm guessing this isn't negotiation.
You didn't. It didn't sound like you were negotiating with them. It sounds like you were commanding them.
That's fine. So plus 5.
No, this would be leadership.
5 plus 17, 23.
Okay, yeah. You manage to get a number of them to begin to help. They start going for the now ruined statue, but which still has water in there, and they start grabbing baskets and buckets and whatever they can, and they start going towards there, following you. You rush inside the building. You can hear the sound of the. Oh, I'm sorry. What are you doing? My apologies.
I'm getting Kelsus away. I'm going to give him my water skin. Tell him just drink water. Just drink some water. Try to take deep breaths. I need you to stay here. Stay here, Kels.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to do?
I turn around and I will start trying to pull. If someone looks like they're alive, I'm trying to pull them away from burning buildings, get them away from wreckage and rubble, get them out of rubble. Just try to help who I can.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so the two of you are trying to help the people on the ground. Meanwhile, the fires beginning to spread. The fires are still threatening to spread. You rush inside the building. You don't hear a voice, so you start to look. Falling timbers, uneven floors, fire and smoke. I need a acrobatics or athletics check to get through this safely. Remember, you have disadvantage.
Yeah. Acrobatics. That's going to be a 12.
You start to move through the building, but but the heat gets too much for you. You spend too much time trying to find them, and you end up kind of stumbling out of the building, coughing, and trying to kind of gain your bearings there. It's been about 2 minutes now. You find you find that the people on the ground, those who the closer you get to the blast marks, the worse it is. Those who were within that radius, which kind of gets about this area right here, were just for the most part incinerated. For the most part, many people were incinerated. You do find a dead gnome lying on the ground, kind of near the center of it. Who's most of their body's been burned away, but you can identify them as a gnome. And again, they're about the center of it. You do find one man who is kind of in that blast radius, who seems to be like kind of staggering a bit. He's got like soot all over his face. He's kind of a bigger man, and he's kind of like teetering a bit. And when you approach, he kind of goes,
Oh, you all right?
"Oi, fuck!" And he seems like he's really like out of it. So you lead him away from kind of the area, kind of bring him over to where some of the other people who are watching kind of start bringing him water and such. He goes, "Fuck! Oh!" He's just like burying his face in his hands. You are also, we're not looking at people. You find you see within the blast radius. You see that there are a number of halfling-sized skeletons, like completely burned away, near this same gnome that was lying on the ground there. You see a man. You see a man with kind of a tan skin and a very neatly trimmed beard, but that seems to be smoldering a little bit. And he's sort of like dazed and sitting there and kind of looking wide-eyed looking wide-eyed and just trembling. You're able to lead him away from the danger. As you pass by, you can see kind of stumbling out of an alley is a dwarven woman with blonde hair and who you recognize as Balafur Morinarn, the owner of the potion shop, who is just and she just sort of staggers a bit, and you're able to help her as well. So the two of you are able to get these three people out of the area. All right, we go to the top of the round. Adelaide. You managed to get people to help.
I'm trying to put out the fires.
Excellent. Okay, so you're going to begin to try to put out the fire. You have the help of the people that you have convinced to assist. Deirdre, what are you doing?
I'm unable to stand the heat. I'm going to back out of the building coughing and Just start trying to call out and find where McGurdy was, since I don't know where he is. Just yell out for McGurdy.
So you're going to start searching the searching the ground for McGurdy. Sure. So again, the flames are threatening to jump from building to building. According to him, there's somebody who is still dying in that building. You begin to look for McGurdy. We come to Colton.
So this building's not on fire yet.
This building is not on fire, but we're getting
Dangerous.
close.
Yes. I'm going to rush to this building, and I'm going to attempt to start trying to get people that are still there to evacuate. To try to lead people out to evacuate.
Purina 1 has
hold on.
It starts inside the gut. With Purina
Goodness
1,
gracious. Sorry, hold on.
gut health
Not want a
and
fucking
immune
commercial in the middle of this. I need to pay for the premium YouTube. That's on me. That's on me. Okay, that's on me. Okay. All right. What are you doing? You see Deirdre kind of stumble out of that building there that she had just run into, empty-handed. What are you doing?
Brock's going to go into that building that he just saw Deidre come out of. He saw Colton go in there, and then Deidre go in there. He figures there has to be some reason that they went in. So yeah, he's going to go in and try to find anyone that's in there and pull them out.
The Constitution saving throw from you, please.
I'm going to use a coin here. Re-roll that. It's 14.
So you're able to not be choked by the
Okay.
Okay. I need a acrobatics or athletics check from you. What I need from you is I need a engineering check. An engineering check. You have advantage on this, so it'll be intelligence engineering. This is how to tell where to apply the water to keep the fire from spreading. So engineering.
I have advantage.
And you can apply explosives to this.
I'm going to use my intrepid.
Sure.
So that gets me 18.
Persuasion check from you.
Six.
I need a perception check from you. 6.
6. Yeah. I'm not going to use a coin.
You're yelling outside the building. Instead of trying to yell for people to come out, nobody responds. If there are people in there, you're not seeing them, and they are not responding to you. Perhaps it's the sounds of the burning buildings that are overwhelming their senses, or perhaps they've already evacuated. You're not sure.
18.
18. All right, yeah. You are able to keep. Which building did you go for first?
We'll go this one first.
Okay. This building is no longer a threat, and you're actually starting to help put the fire out.
I got a 10.
You're searching around, looking from body to body at this point, but there's so much chaos, you're not finding him at this point. 9. You get in there and you're searching for a bit, and the heat just gets too much, and you find yourself having to come out of the building. Okay.
Damn it.
Okay. The fires are raging on. This fire seems to be being taken care of. The fire still rages over here. What do you do? We go to Adelaide.
I'm gonna focus on that big one.
Focus on you're moving the people over to here. Actually, the people that you convinced are actually staying on this one.
Okay.
Them.
Are there more people?
There are still plenty of people who are still watching.
I'm gonna try and tell the people still watching. We need that big one over there. We need to stop it.
Okay. I'm gonna need a persuasion check from you. We're gonna go to Deirdre. Deirdre, what are you doing at this point?
I'm gonna start
3 minutes have gone by.
listening to Adelaide, who's trying to help put out the fires.
Excellent. Okay, so you're gonna go ahead and begin to. You're gonna start trying to put out this fire.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. We're gonna go ahead and go. Colton, what are you currently attempting?
That building's fine for now. That building's out. I'm going to follow Adelaide. Do what she tells me to do. Is try to help put out the fires.
Okay. The heat was getting too much, but you're able to catch your breath. What do you do at this point?
Brock is going to turn his attention to putting out the fires on this smaller building over here.
Sounds good. Okay. So, which building are you trying to put out? This one or this one?
This one.
Okay. All right. I need a persuasion check from you.
22.
22. The people will go and help whichever building. A few people step forward to help which building.
It was the big one.
This one. Some townsfolk come to help you. You would have disadvantage because you're poisoned, but now you have advantage
So it's a
because of the people. So it's a wash. You need to make a intelligence engineering check. Gain a explosive specifically. Intelligence engineering. The two of you are working together to try to get this out. So one of you may make a intelligence engineering
Explosives is my
engineering
special.
explosives with advantage. 13. No, you and the people are trying to put this fire out, but you're having a difficult time as the fire is sort of going out of control at this point. It's you're finding it very difficult in your current state to keep those flames under control.
Total of 20.
Total of 20. You, on the other hand, two of you are able to get this fire, which most of the building had already been destroyed. You're able to start getting this fire, at least to a point, under control. 4 minutes have passed. We go back to Adelaide.
I'm going to try and help put out this last fire.
You're going to help put out this last fire. At this point, we're going to go ahead and go to Deirdre. Deirdre, what are you doing at this
I'm
point?
going to be helping put out this last fire.
Continuing to try to put out this last fire. The townspeople who were helping at this point like they've walked away, they're kind of coughing a bit, kind of moving away from the danger. They're a bit too scared to stay in this area for too long. We then go to Colton. What are you doing?
You said this building had primarily burned down, but I'm still going to poke in and just see if there's survivors.
Okay, you go in and look for survivors. We then will go to Brock.
Brock is going to try, using his knowledge of explosives, is going to investigate the area around the center of the blast radius and see if he can identify what kind of explosive did this, or what might have caused this explosion. If that's something that he could make a reasonable guess at.
Sure. Okay, so the fires are raging on, so here's what I need. I need from you. I need an intelligence, specifically Arcana check.
Okay.
I need intelligence Arcana, or you can give me a engineering explosives check on it.
Okay.
I need from you. You two are on this, but she is in no condition to provide you advantage.
Okay.
I'm going to say, unfortunately, she's poisoned, she's exhausted. So you can make an engineering explosives check to try to keep this fire in check. You can also make a check, but yours with disadvantage.
Introducing final.
Oh my gosh, Will!
Directly brews coffee.
I don't think we have any left. do
No,
we?
there's one
We
in
have
there.
two. We have one.
You would have the better chance of doing it.
That's better. 18.
Okay, you're able to put out the flames. The two of you together are able to put those flames out. Oh, did you get in that one?
No, I didn't.
The two of you together are able to put those flames out. You go inside that building. The fires are dying down. It's mainly just steam at this point. Although they're mainly just steam at this point, you are unable to find anyone. It seems to have been evacuated except for the woman that was taken out. You are searching. You're looking over. It's going to take you some time to investigate this whole area. But what did you get on your check?
25.
25. Okay. The fires have been put out. As you're putting the last of the major infernos out, you see the people who were working on putting this fire out. You can see that that a man, a man and woman are carrying a body wrapped in a cloth. Not a particularly large body, wrapped in a cloth. You see a number of people are crying and sobbing. But you can see, though, that the fire has been stopped from spreading. You can see people looking at you with looks of gratefulness, and those who aren't sort of in shock. But you can see that there are a number of people sort of look at you just with that look of thank you. There's one face in particular that draws your attention, though, and you see as you sort of are moving back kind of towards the rest of you, kind of seeing how they are after you kind of put out the fires and such. And you see that the danger has passed. In the distance, you can hear the sound of the watch bells going off. Ding, 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 ding. You know that City Watch will be here soon, but your attention is mainly drawn to the face of a one-eyed tiefling boy who has a tear stream soot kind of pouring kind of all over tears kind of all over his face, and you can see that he like sits there with a blanket over him that someone has provided him. He's trembling as you approach him.
Kelsus.
There's a bright flash of light. Broad and I were at the stall, and we gave the lizard a stick, and there's a bright flash of light, and I heard Braun yell, and then he pushes me into the building. He pushes me into that building, and he points over here. Me and another boy. And you see, as you kind of your eyes are drawn over, you see the morning people there, and as they sort of move away from the door, and you can see the steam rising, you can see that in front of the door of that building you had stepped over a charred skeleton, a large one. You can see scraps now of a red bandana, charred, and floating in the wind. And you can hear this, and you're left there with a sound of a young boy's sobbing as you realize that Braun McGurty is dead. And we're going to go ahead and end that there for the night.
Somebody's got a lot to answer for.
People just want to be on our shit list.
What do you guys think of that session? How was that? This whole fire thing. How are you guys feeling? How's your characters? I don't know. This is a weird, weird transition. How you? Well, we'll go ahead. We'll go in initiative order. Adelaide, let's just do what we normally do. Adelaide, how are you feeling about the events of today?
I mean, the fact that we were able to stop the fires and seemingly save some people felt pretty good, but losing Braun and also the trauma that this boy in our care is going through is heartbreaking.
I would agree. Deirdre, how is Deirdre? Where's Deirdre at after the after this session?
At a loss for words. She's what the fuck just happened? That's what she is. Lost for words. Too much.
Colton, where's Colton sitting at?
Colton is, in his mind, back 3 years in the chaos of the war. This was like a war zone, the aftermath of one. So his mind is in that mode of I've been here before, and it's horrifying.
Yeah, I can understand that. What about Brock?
I think Brock is very conscious of the consequences of the kind of work that he used to do. And so he is very... I think he is especially angry to think about who might have done this kind of thing to non-combatants in his eyes. Who turned this level of destructive force on just innocent people.
Right.
So he's, very determined to get to the bottom of what happened.
Well, we will soon be able to maybe start to look into that. But for those of you at home, we will be seeing you in 2 weeks. This has been Basements and Besties, the Dark Lanterns of Sharn, and we hope to see you next time for the thrilling conclusion, or not the conclusion,
Thrilling next episode.
The next episode, as we begin to our agents begin to uncover what has happened here. So hopefully, again, we'll see you. Hopefully, we'll see you in 2 weeks. So
In the basement.
yeah.
I love the accent.